Ladies and gentlemen, every morning before the world places its demands on you, you are given a brief window. A silent moment, park, where your mind is calm, your heart has not yet been disturbed, and your thoughts are waiting for instruction. Running through what you say to yourself in this moment becomes your training for the day. 1. I am responsible for how I show up today. You may not control the weather, people's opinions, or the challenges that will come, but your response is yours alone. Begin here, return here. 2. I do not need to rush. The mind that hurries misses the moment. Your breath is your anchor. Begin slow, move mindfully, and everything that matters will be met with presence. Every morning begins with silence. In that silence, before the noise of the world enters through the park, there is a rare opportunity. It is in this early space of the day that we are faced with a decision, not about what we will wear or what tasks we will complete, but about how we will carry ourselves into the world. This is where personal responsibility is awakened. The first words we speak to ourselves should be this: I am responsible for how I show up today. This sentence is simple, running through the park, yet it carries the full weight of awareness and accountability. Taking responsibility means recognizing that although we cannot control the outer conditions of the day, the weather, the traffic, the unexpected interruptions, we can always control the internal condition of our mind. We control the quality of our thoughts, sharpness of our focus, and the clarity of our intention. Life is not something that just happens to us. Life responds to how we step into it. Running the park, when you accept responsibility for how you show up, you no longer wait for the day to be kind before you decide to be calm. You no longer wait for others to be respectful before you choose to be respectful. The outer world stops dictating your inner peace. This level of ownership removes blame. It removes excuses. There is no more need to say, running through the park made me angry, or the situation stressed me out. Instead, there is the quiet strength of, I allowed anger to arise, and I responded with stress. That shift might feel subtle, but it is the beginning of self-mastery. It is the beginning of freedom, because if you are responsible, then you are also powerful. Through the park, you are no longer pushed and pulled by every external circumstance. You decide the kind of energy you bring into a room. You decide the type of focus you bring to your work. You decide whether you act out of fear or out of clarity. Responsibility does not mean perfection. You may still fall short. You may still get distracted. You may still feel frustration. But now, rather of blaming those emotions on others, you observe them, you understand them, and you learn from them. Every mistake becomes a lesson. Every misstep becomes a teacher. This is how you grow. This is how you train. And so, when the morning comes, speak this sentence to yourself with conviction. Not as a burden, but as a source of empowerment. I am responsible for how I show up today. Let it guide the way you breathe, the way you sit, the way you speak, the way you listen. Running through the park. Carry it with you not just in thought, but in action, because how you show up, especially when no one is watching, is how your character is built. And the person you become is built one morning, one moment, one choice at a time. In the fast rhythm of modern life, many wake up and immediately feel behind. The moment their eyes open, minds begin racing messages to reply to, tasks to complete, deadlines to meet. This habitual rush leads to scattered thinking, low breathing, and a constant undercurrent of anxiety. But there is a different way to begin the day. It starts by reminding yourself, I do not need to rush. These words are not about avoiding action. They are about reclaiming control over your pace, your presence, and your peace. When you rush, you are not fully present. Your mind jumps ahead, projecting into imagined futures. You eat without tasting, walk without feeling your feet, speak without listening. This fragmentation weakens your energy. Life becomes a blur of moments, each one lost to the next. But when you slow down, something powerful happens. You begin to notice the moment as it is. Your senses awaken. Your breath deepens. You begin to see clearly what needs to be done and what doesn't. Telling yourself, I do not need to rush, is not a command to delay, but an invitation to move with awareness. A reminder that quality arises from attention, not speed. It is better to do one task with full concentration than to do 10 things half-heartedly. The person who moves slowly with clarity will go further than the person who rushes blindly without direction. This is not just philosophy, it is practical wisdom. When you slow down, you make fewer mistakes. You speak more thoughtfully, you listen more deeply, and in the end you save time, energy, and regret. This truth can also be felt physically. When the body is rushed, the breath becomes short, the shoulders tighten, the face tenses. But when you remind yourself to slow down, the breath returns to the belly, the body relaxes, and the mind opens. Your whole system becomes more stable, more powerful, more capable. Like a trained martial artist who doesn't flinch or overreact, you remain grounded in the present. You act, not react. There is also a deeper teaching here. Rushing is often a symptom of fear. The fear of falling behind, of not being enough, of disappointing others. But when you tell yourself, I do not need to rush, you are reminding yourself that your worth is not measured by how fast you move, running through the park, but by how aligned you are with your purpose. The world will try to pressure you into its tempo. Your inner world can create its own rhythm. Steady, calm, unshakable. So each morning as the day begins, take a breath. Before reaching for your phone, before stepping into action, say it gently. I do not need to rush. Feel the truth of it. Let that awareness follow you into your conversations, your movements, your decisions. Let your calm become your strength, because when you walk without rushing, you arrive fully, not just at your destination, but in your life. There is a silent force that determines whether dreams stay ideas or become reality. It's not inspiration, and it's not talent. That force is discipline, the quiet decision to keep going even when motivation fades. Each morning, when the world is still quiet and your mind is clear, speak this truth to yourself. I carry the discipline to finish what I start. These words are more than a declaration. They are a call to action, a reminder that commitment is stronger than mood, and that progress is built on consistency, not bursts of excitement. Starting something is easy. New beginnings feel exciting. They give us energy, a sense of possibility, and a rush of enthusiasm. But beginnings are only the first step. True growth happens in the middle, when things get hard, when distractions appear, when progress feels slow. It is in those moments that discipline becomes your ally. Discipline is not about force or punishment. It is a form of inner respect. It's the part of you that remembers your deeper reasons when your surface level feelings want to quit. When you carry the discipline to finish what you start, you begin to build a powerful kind of self-trust. You no longer need to convince others of your intentions because your actions speak for you. Every time you follow through on a commitment, no matter how small, you strengthen your integrity. You prove to yourself that your word matters. And when your word matters to you, your life begins to align. Tasks get done. Skills improve. Projects are completed. You stop being someone who just dreams and become someone who delivers. But discipline doesn't mean never feeling tired, bored, or doubtful. Those feelings are natural. They will always visit. The difference lies in what you do when they come. The disciplined person acknowledges them, start running through the park, but doesn't surrender to them. You feel the weight of resistance, but you keep moving. You hear the voice of doubt, but you stay on the path. This is not about being robotic. It's about being rooted in your purpose. There is also peace in discipline. Many think it's a rigid, stressful way to live, but in truth, it brings freedom. When you complete what you begin, there is no backlog of unfinished tasks pulling at your mind. You can rest deeply, knowing your actions are aligned. You can wake up each day without the burden of guilt or delay. This inner order creates outer clarity. So each morning, remind yourself, I carry the discipline to finish what I start. Let it echo in your breath, your posture, and your focus. Bring it with you into your smallest habits, your morning routine, your conversations, your work. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. And the one who finishes what they begin is not just building results. They are building a life of purpose, strength, and quiet excellence. There is a common belief that peace is something to be found somewhere out there, in a better place, a quieter environment, a simpler time. Peace is not a destination. It is a state of being, a quality already present within you, waiting to be uncovered. Each morning, before you are pulled into the noise of the world, remind yourself of this truth. Peace is already within me. These words are not wishful thinking. They are a reminder of your natural state, which gets buried beneath thoughts, stress, and distractions, but is never lost. From the moment you wake up, countless things begin to demand your attention. Notifications, responsibilities, expectations, all pulling you outward. Without awareness, your mind starts chasing what's next, believing that if everything outside you could just settle down, you'd finally feel calm. That's a trap, because external peace is never guaranteed. What is guaranteed, however, is your ability to return inward to the part of you that is always still, always present, always whole. Saying peace is already within me is not a denial of life's challenges. It's a declaration that even in the middle of chaos, you have access to stillness. Like the ocean's depths remain undisturbed beneath crashing waves, your inner peace lies beneath the surface noise. To reach it, you don't need to escape your life. You need to reconnect with your breath, your body, your awareness. The breath is the key. When the breath is slow and steady, the mind begins to quiet, the body begins to soften, and your natural rhythm returns. Most people look for peace in control. They try to organize everything around them to prevent discomfort. But life is fluid. It doesn't always obey your plans. The path to real peace is not about controlling the world. It's about learning to remain centered regardless of what the world brings. Strength, that's maturity, that's freedom. Peace is also not the absence of activity. You don't need to sit in silence for hours to access it. You can move with peace, speak with peace, act with peace. It's about how you do things, not what you do. When your actions come from clarity rather than urgency, from intention rather than impulse, peace follows you. It becomes the quality of your presence, not a condition of your surroundings. So each morning, before you check your phone, before you engage with the world, take a moment to repeat, peace is already within me. Say it not as a command, but as a gentle reminder. Feel it in your chest, in your breath, in the space between thoughts. And then carry that peace into the day, not by trying to keep everything calm, but by being the calm. Because the most powerful person is not the one who controls the most, but the one who remains composed in the middle of everything. And that person is already within you. Comfort is seductive. It tells you to stay where it's easy, where nothing challenges you, where everything feels familiar and predictable. But deep inside, you already know nothing truly meaningful grows from comfort alone. Growth, clarity, these are born in challenge. That is why each morning, before you face the world, you must remind yourself, I train for life, not for comfort. This is a mindset shift. It turns everyday struggles into lessons. It transforms pain into a teacher and discomfort into a path. When you train for comfort, you avoid the hard things. You skip the workout, delay the conversation, put off the goal. Every time you choose ease over effort, you weaken the muscle of your will. You lose trust in your own capacity. You become reactive, fragile, dependent on your environment being just right for you to feel okay. But life is unpredictable. You won't always get ideal conditions. That's why you must train, not for comfort, but for reality. For life as it is, not as you wish it to be. Training for life means embracing discomfort as part of the process. You don't seek suffering, but you stop running from it. You understand that growth is not a straight line. There are setbacks, moments of resistance, days when progress feels invisible. And yet, you continue. Because you are not here to avoid hardship. You are here to become stronger through it. Like a tree that deepens its roots in the wind, you use adversity to anchor yourself more deeply. Training also means being intentional. Athletes don't just show up and randomly move. They follow a plan with discipline and focus. You can live that way too. Your daily habits, your mindset, your routines, they become your training ground. Every repetition of self-control, every act of patience, every time you show up despite not feeling ready, that is training. And the more you train, the more prepared you are, not just for today's challenges, but for life's bigger tests. There is also humility in this mindset. When you train for life, you accept that you are always a student. You're not trying to prove anything. You're trying to grow. You're not avoiding mistakes. You're learning from them. That openness keeps you adaptable. You don't break under pressure. You bend, adjust, and come back wiser. So when the alarm goes off, when the task feels heavy, when the discomfort shows up, don't see it as a reason to retreat. See it as your opportunity to train. Say to yourself, I train for life, not for comfort. Let that become your inner compass. Let it guide you through the difficult days, the uncertain moments, the times when giving up feels tempting. Because life will not always give you comfort, but it will always give you the chance to grow. And if you are willing to train, not just when it's easy, especially when it's hard, you will become the kind of person who can meet any challenge, stand through any storm, and walk with quiet strength through the ever-changing terrain of life. Comfort is seductive. It tells you to stay where it's easy, where nothing challenges you, where everything feels familiar and predictable. Deep inside, you already know nothing truly meaningful grows from comfort alone. Growth, strength, clarity, these are born in challenge. That is why each morning, before you face the world, you must remind yourself, I train for life, not for comfort. This is a mindset shift. It turns everyday struggles into lessons. It transforms pain into a teacher and discomfort into a path. When you train for comfort, you avoid the hard things. You skip the workout, delay the conversation, put off the goal. But every time you choose ease over effort, you weaken the muscle of your will. You lose trust in your own capacity. You become reactive, fragile, dependent on your environment being just right for you to feel okay. But life is unpredictable. You won't always get ideal conditions. That's why you must train, not for comfort, but for reality. For life as it is, not as you wish it to be. Training for life means embracing discomfort as part of the process. You don't seek suffering, but you stop running from it. You understand that growth is not a straight line. There are setbacks, moments of resistance, days when progress feels invisible. And yet, you continue. Because you are not here to avoid hardship. You are here to become stronger through it. Like a tree that deepens its roots in the wind, you use adversity to anchor yourself more deeply. Training also means being intentional. Athletes don't just show up and randomly move. They follow a plan with discipline and focus. You can live that way too. Your daily habits, your mindset, your routines, they become your training ground. Every repetition of self-control, every act of patience. Every time you show up despite not feeling ready, that is training. And the more you train, the more prepared you are. Not just for today's challenges, but for life's bigger tests. There is also humility in this mindset. When you train for life, you accept that you are always a student. You're not trying to prove anything. You're trying to grow. You're not avoiding mistakes. You're learning from them. That openness keeps you adaptable. You don't break under pressure. You bend, adjust, and come back wiser. So when the alarm goes off, when the task feels heavy, when the discomfort shows up, don't see it as a reason to retreat. See it as your opportunity to train. Say to yourself, I train for life, not for comfort. Let that become your inner compass. Let it guide you through the difficult days, the uncertain moments, the times when giving up feels tempting. Because life will not always give you comfort, but it will always give you the chance to grow. And if you are willing to train, not just when it's easy, especially when it's hard, you will become the kind of person who can meet any challenge, stand through any storm, and walk with quiet strength through the ever-changing terrain of life. In a world obsessed with success, status, and recognition, it is easy to begin the day with a narrow focus. What can I achieve? What can I gain? How far can I get ahead? But if you listen closely, you will hear another voice, quieter but wiser, asking a deeper question. How can I serve? Each morning, speak this reminder to yourself. Today, I serve, not just succeed. These words shift your perspective from self-centered ambition to meaningful contribution. Reconnect you to purpose, clarity, and inner strength. Serving does not mean weakness. It does not mean sacrificing your own growth. It means aligning your efforts with something greater than personal gain. It means recognizing that your work, your words, your presence, all of it has an impact. When you walk into a room, do you lift others or pull them down? When you speak, do your words encourage or discourage? When you work, do you only seek results for yourself, or do you consider how your actions affect those around you? Success achieved without service often feels empty. You may reach the top, but find yourself alone. You may gain wealth, but feel disconnected. That's because success without contribution lacks depth. But when you serve, even in small ways, your actions carry weight. A kind gesture, a patient response, a thoughtful effort, these ripple outward in ways you may never see. And in the process, you discover a deeper kind of fulfillment, the kind that doesn't need applause, because it's rooted in integrity. Training yourself to serve also cultivates humility. You stop seeing others as obstacles or competitors, and instead begin to see them as human beings, each with their own struggles, dreams, and burdens. This awareness softens the ego. It opens the heart, and it creates space for genuine connection. You begin to lead not with control, but with example. You begin to speak not to impress, but to uplift. You begin to work not just to finish, but to contribute. This mindset also strengthens your resilience. When your only goal is personal success, failure can feel crushing. When your intention is to serve, even setbacks carry value. You learn from them, grow from them, and continue, not for validation, because someone somewhere may benefit from your persistence. You stop being motivated by comparison or reward and start being fueled by responsibility. That kind of motivation is steady. It doesn't burn out. It deepens over time. So each morning, before you begin your routine, ask yourself, who can I help today? Where can I offer my strength, my patience, my attention? Whether it's your family, your colleagues, your community, or even a stranger, look for moments to serve. Let your success be the byproduct of service, not the goal. Because in the end, you will be remembered not just for what you achieve, but for how you made others feel. Not just for how far you went, but for how many you lifted along the way. And that begins not with grand gestures, but with a quiet choice, repeated daily. Today, I serve, not just succeed. The past is powerful, not because it defines you, but because it tries to. Every experience you've had, every mistake you've made, every success, failure, or regret, all of it becomes a voice in your head. Some of those voices whisper, you can't change, or this is just who you are. But every morning, you are given a new chance to speak back with strength and clarity. Begin your day by saying this: I am not my past. I am my choices. These words break the illusion that your history controls your destiny. They bring your power back to the present moment where true change begins. Your past may explain how you got here, but it does not get to decide where you go next. It may have shaped your habits, your beliefs, and your wounds, but it does not define your character. That is something you shape daily through conscious decisions. When you say, I am my choices, you are reminding yourself that no matter what yesterday looked like, today holds new possibility. Future isn't built on what has already happened. It's built on what you do next. This mindset also dismantles the identity trap. Many people carry labels placed on them by others or created by their own past behavior. Labels like lazy, weak, unreliable, broken. And the more those labels are repeated, the more they begin to feel real. But a label is not a life. You can decide right now, act differently, to choose differently. And every time you do, you loosen the grip of who you are and make room for who you are becoming. That transformation doesn't happen overnight. It requires effort. You will be tempted by old patterns. Pull of familiar behavior will try to drag you back. But each time you pause, breathe, and choose consciously, you are strengthening a new identity, not based on who you've been, but on who you're training to be. And that is where true strength lives, in your ability to respond to life with awareness instead of reaction. This truth applies to both large decisions and small ones. Whether it's how you speak to someone, how you treat your body, how you manage your time, or how you respond to discomfort, every choice counts. You are never stuck unless you stop choosing. And the more aligned your choices are with your values, the more your life begins to reflect who you truly are. So each morning, speak it out loud or in your heart: I am not my past. I am my choices. Let it clear the weight of guilt or regret. Let it remind you that you are not here to repeat history, but to write a new chapter. Let it give you permission to grow, to change, to evolve. Because the past cannot reach into your present unless you carry it there. And when you step forward with intention, your choices become the bridge between the person you were and the person you are becoming.